House rents have skyrocketed over the past year in Canada. If you're in Canada or planning to come to Canada, or you're just curious about what is happening in the rental market in Canada, then this video is for you.
A new report says rental prices in Canada hit a new high for the 6th straight month.
Hello everyone, my name is Dear Kola. I have lived in Canada for over 20 years. And on this channel, I share content about growing older and wiser as an immigrant. Welcome back to this side of life. And if you're new here, welcome and thank you all so much for joining me today. So diving right into this video, in my last video, I talked about the reasons why immigrants are leaving Canada in higher numbers than previously. And one of those reasons was because of the affordability of housing. And some people wanted to know more about the housing situation in Canada, which is why I am doing this video. So if you have anything that you want me to talk about on this channel, please put them in the comment section below and I will do my best to address those topics. Thank you very much. Like I said in that previous video, when I came to Canada 24 years ago, the first apartment that we rented was a 2-bedroom apartment that cost us $730 per month. If you want to rent that kind of apartment today in my city, you will need to have about $1,600. And that may not even include the utilities. By utilities, I mean heat and water and electricity costs. And that is more than double what it was when we came here 24 years ago. So why do we have such high rents? Off the top of my head, and from various reports and news articles that I've read, apart from the fact that things just went haywire after the pandemic, with inflation everywhere in the world, I would say that some of the reasons why house rents are so high in Canada is, number one, the high demand for housing versus the low supply of housing in Canada. And high demand, like we all know from our economics, the law of supply and demand. The high demand is coming from so many people coming from all over the world into Canada and requiring accommodation. That makes the demand to be very high. In addition to that, there is a big influx of international students into Canada. I'm sure many of you know one person or the other who has come to Canada as an international student. They are also demanding accommodation. In fact, there are some college towns or university towns in Canada that are small, but the number of international students that they are admitting does not take into consideration the infrastructure, like the number of housing that they have. They don't provide housing for the students. And some of these students even come in with their families and there's nowhere for them to stay. So this is part of what is driving up the demand for housing. Meanwhile, the supply is not keeping up. There are not enough new builds to cater to all the numbers of people that are flocking into the Canadian cities. I read somewhere that Canada right now needs 5.8 million houses to be able to meet the housing demand that it has right now. And of course, most of those people that are coming in, most of them are going to the big centers. They are going to Toronto, they are going to Vancouver, they are going to the big cities, Montreal, Calgary, Quebec, so that is putting a lot of pressure on housing in those cities. The other reason that I can think of is the high interest rates. Over the past year and a half or so, the interest rates have just gone up astronomically. 2 years ago, people were getting mortgages at 1 point something percent, like 2% interest rate. But now it's up to like 6%, 7%. And so the cost of mortgages have gone up. Landlords need to cover their mortgage and they are transferring the cost of their mortgages to their tenants. And so rents have just kept going up. And what is the impact of all this, especially as incomes have not kept pace with the rising cost of rent? Well, I guess people, to be able to afford their rent, some people have to go into debt. And so debt rates are increasing amongst the population. There's more homelessness. Yes, that's the consequence of rents being too high. However, there is a silver lining. There is a positive note. The fact that Canada is needing 5.8 million homes to be built means that there is the need for people to build those homes. So there is the need for construction workers. So that means that there are a lot of vacancies for construction jobs, or there will be a lot of vacancies for construction jobs. So if we were to look on the bright side, that would be one good impact of what is happening right now. If you are into construction, then that should be good news for you. So what to do? What can we do as immigrants or as newcomers or people who are already in Canada about the situation, this high rent situation? The first thing that you can do, like they say, real estate is all about location, location, location. So I think the first thing that you can do is to find an affordable location. Your location or your city will determine the amount of rent that you pay. Rentals.ca provides up-to-date information on rents across Canada. You can see here, the different cities across Canada and what you can expect to pay for rent in each of these cities. You can see that Vancouver is at the top of this list, with one bedroom going for an average of $2,872 and two bedrooms going for $3,777. Wow. And you can see going down the list, how affordable all these different cities are. Most of them at the top of this list are from Ontario and British Columbia, which are the higher rent areas in Canada. You can see Calgary is here, and I'm not far off. The one bedroom is an average of $1,733 and two bedroom is $2,155. So this is one of the websites that would really help you when you are doing your research about rent in Canada. Of course, you need to have a job as well. So if you can find a location where you can get a job and rent is also affordable, then that would be the best for you. The second thing you can do is to choose a less expensive type of accommodation. So of course, the rent for detached houses will be more than the rent for attached houses. And when I say attached houses, I mean duplexes or townhomes, which would be more than the rent for apartments or condominiums. One of the ways to increase supply that is now gaining ground in Canada is basement suites. Many municipalities are legalizing basement suites where people will develop the basement of their houses and make it into like one bedroom, two bedroom, three bedroom apartments, and they can rent it out so that it will help them with their mortgage and also help those people that are looking for accommodation so that they can find more affordable accommodation. Basement suites are most of the time cheaper than apartments or condominiums. So basement suites are a great affordable option for newcomers especially. Also, always think about utilities as well, because utilities, if they are included, great. If they are not included, they will add to your rental costs. Then the third thing to do is consider sharing. This one is good for young people like students or singles who are not married, so that if they get a two-bedroom apartment for $2,000 plus, they can share it and each person will pay $1,000 or less. And some people actually rent out rooms in their houses. So you would see, if you go to Rent Faster, for example, you will see rooms for rent. And you can also do that, rent a room in somebody's house. Well, another tip I would give is if you are renting currently and the landlord has not increased your rent yet, then don't move. Because, for example, in Alberta, landlords can only increase rent once a year. And if you are still in that cycle, then you might as well stay for the year to run out before you can expect any increase in rent. And it is also better for you to negotiate with your current landlord than to go out and rent from a new landlord who is probably trying to cover his or her mortgage costs and will have a higher rent anyway. Hopefully, with everything that the government is trying to do, rents will stop going higher and they will moderate. And I think there's already talk about that happening in the high rent centers like Toronto. The rents are moderating and we hope that that is going to continue. In the meantime, hopefully those tips will come in useful. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me again. I hope you were able to get some value out of this video to help you in making your decisions. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know whenever I upload new videos. Also, stay tuned to this channel for more interesting content coming your way. Until I come your way again, until the next video, you go out and make it the best days of your life. Bye.